ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of TBR, and I'm George Binns. And we're continuing on our election season coverage, and this evening we're having the candidate for Ward 2 School Committee, Madeline Rose Lennox. Welcome,
Hi.
Madeline.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you're running for a seat, you're essentially, there's no challenger, is it?
Right.
Yeah, so you're in.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you had to go around knocking on doors, get signatures.
Yeah.
What do you hear from the?
Yeah, so that feels like a lifetime ago. It was a couple months ago this summer.
Yeah.
I really had fun walking around the neighborhoods with my two kids and just chatting with people. I think we are kind of now into the school year, so maybe things have changed a little bit. But I think people are kind of excited and hoping for kind of a fresh start and change with this new superintendent, a lot of new school committee members coming in. So I think it's kind of a positive, hopeful time for people.
Well, you talk about change. What would you like to change?
I think there needs to be kind of more transparency and kind of communication to the city, to the public, of how the budget process works, what's going on in the schools, just overall kind of more communication, reaching out, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, the teacher strike was very traumatic. I think Beverly's got the unfortunate challenge of being the longest strike yet for teachers, so
Yeah.
that's nothing
Yeah.
to be bragging about. So I had a discussion with the new superintendent, and he's been talking about healing and returning. And so I guess, what do you see as the main conflict between the teachers and the union and the school committee? What are we trying to fix?
I think during the whole strike ordeal and now following that, teachers are just not feeling valued, and I think they are feeling like their voices aren't being heard. They're the ones with our kids every day,
Yeah.
the majority of the day. They know what our kids need, what our school needs. I trust them to tell us what they need, what they're seeing. And I think they're feeling kind of like they've been ignored or not listened to, which I'm sure is really frustrating. So, yeah, I think that's something that we can work on. I think this new superintendent coming in has been really, he's sent out really good weekly newsletters talking a lot about what's going on. He seems really enthusiastic, so I think that will be good.
Good. So in your email address, and you have made some comments that people are working with a tight budget, and there have been some adjustments made to get through the budget this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the thinking is that, well, we're losing some capabilities, but I guess one of the things that concerns me is that you look at some of the ratings of the school systems. The two I use mostly is U.S. News and World Report, or another one called NISH.
Yep.
And both of them say Beverly's a pretty good school system. And then you dig into the details and you find out that just about half of the kids are meeting the minimums on MCAS testing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we can blame a lot of it on COVID and the screwed up system that resulted because of adjusting for that.
Right.
But the other concern I have is there are some articles around that said, hey, this slowing down or deterioration in performance in the schools is nationwide, and it goes back to like 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the concerns I have is that, okay, people are talking about an override. Suppose it passes and we get some more money.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do different? Because you get into Einstein's definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing and
Right.
expecting a different outcome.
I know, and that is challenging, and it is scary to look at those numbers. I think having seen all the cuts to staff that have been made, I think one important thing they need to do is invest in the staff and have more staff. Like I've noticed with my kids' classrooms that the teachers and paras are being pulled. They need to go into these meetings and different things. There's just not enough backup support for kids that may need it for all sorts of reasons. But also, I'd seen my daughter's classroom last year. The teacher was punched in the face. They'd have to evacuate the classroom, and to see that they're then cutting paraprofessionals and the staff that support those children, that's very concerning to me. So
What grade was she in?
Fourth. She's in fifth grade this year.
And she got punched?
No,
by
she
what?
didn't. But students were being hurt. The teacher was being hurt, and they need that extra support. They need the extra staff there that they're now cutting. My son, who was in preschool at McEwen last year, he would have to evacuate the classroom for, kids having whatever. But they need the support of these extra paraprofessionals that they have now cut. So I think that's one important thing to bring back. Because when you have enough staff, that's giving the educators time and resources to really work with the kids. But when they're being pulled in every direction, kids aren't getting that attention that they need.
That's the first time I've heard that version of it. I guess there's a serious concern of the style of education. Totally different from when I went to school. We had 40 kids in the class and one teacher.
Yeah.
And I ended up in the parochial schools that the one teacher had a ruler and that's it.
Yeah.
And she did not have a problem with a kid twice.
Yeah, I bet.
So it's a different environment.
Right.
And I guess adjusting to it is still a challenge because we haven't figured it out yet. How many paras do you need? Do you need one for every kid?
No, but there need kids that either need them or have that stated on their IEP, or they should have one or two per classroom, I guess, depending, just to have that support. And kids, if they're doing work and they have a question, that way there's help for them. Mm-hmm. But they just don't have the resources or the numbers right now to do that. So,
yeah. So what else needs to be fixed? Or what else could we do different?
There's definitely a lot I think we can look into. I think giving kids options for things, for different courses, is always beneficial. Not everyone learns the same way. Not everyone has the same interests. And right now it seems like more and more things are being cut. Like they cut the German program from the middle school. And I understand that they have to consider the budget, but it's really sad to me to see more and more things taken away from kids when like I said, everyone learns differently and has different interests. And I think, if you can spark something in a kid that they say, oh, I love this, I'm interested in this, that will hopefully continue a lifelong passion for that. So it's just frustrating to see more and more things being taken away.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've seen a lot of write-ups on lately is introducing AI into the schools. And there's a school that specializes in it, and they have a model that every kid has his own computer and his or her own tailored program on the computer that reacts to how they're learning, what they're learning, and where their interests are. And it's, I think there's 2 schools up and running, one in Texas and one in Florida, I believe. Alpha Start was, I think, the name of it. And it sounds intriguing. And one of the things that shows up a lot is that kids are using AI, Google, chatbot, or something like that to do homework or do testings. And some of the teachers are reacting that they run the test through a different program and said, aha, this is copied out of chatbot or
Yeah.
something else. And then it's discarded. But in the real world, the kid is given an assignment and they're expected to go off and do some research.
Right.
And my day was go to the library and get out the Encyclopedia Britannica, then you hand copy the paragraph out of that. But nowadays, everybody just click, 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 and they got an answer. And there's one of the gentlemen we've had on the show before talks about critical thinking. And you get an answer, and how do you believe it?
Right.
How do you check to see, is that really that good?
Right.
Or what can I do to enhance that answer
Yeah.
so it becomes a more personal response?
Right.
So I think I would like to see a lot of more direction in that vein to
Yeah.
fix up to the fact that AI is here and it's going to stay here and ain't going nowhere.
Right. I know. I mean, I don't love AI. It's a newer technology. But it makes me think back to, when I was in high school and kind of these search engines were newer. At the time, it was like Ask Jeeves. I don't even know if they had Google yet. These different where you could type in a question, it would bring up websites. And in a lot of ways, I think it's the same thing. You need to use your critical thinking to look and say, well, are these answers coming from a reputable source? Where are they coming from? And, kind of dive into that and make sure you are looking at sources that are legitimate. I can see advantages to AI. Like my husband, he's an engineer, like I told you, and he, because he's an engineer, his writing is very technical. So he has really liked AI and feels like it helps him when he needs to write speeches or kind of write more things that aren't on the technical side. He thinks that's really helpful to him. So I definitely see advantages to AI, but we need to be careful with it.
Yeah. Well, being an engineer myself, I recognize that what the problem is that you can get to be very geeky and very technical answers and responses, which are absolutely correct, but totally unintelligible to somebody else. And I stumbled into this just the other day. Somebody was asking me a question about something. I said, oh, there's no correlation. Huh?
Yeah.
It's part of the thing. So, part of the problem is if you get into the technical world, which a lot of people are in various degrees, how do you translate that story to somebody else who you want to make a decision? So that, I think, is, again, part of the English language program.
Right.
The fact that you've got to be able to take something very detailed and translate it so your grandmother can understand it or something like that.
Right.
So how do we get this into the English language program?
Yeah, AI into the English language.
Yeah, AI or any of this kind of critical thinking.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you would have to work with the teachers and the schools to do that. As someone who loved when I took English, like, I don't know, I'm hesitant to do that, but I definitely could see where there could be advantages and help kids. So I don't know. It would be something to explore.
Oh, yeah, I have this thing about English teachers. I think they're mostly hypocritical. That they keep telling you that they want you to be more creative, and they never gave me credit for my creative spelling. But I think that gets to be part of the problem of how do we get the system to change over to adopting these new technologies as they come along.
Yeah, and I think they will over time, but it is pretty new, so I think it will take a while to
Yeah.
incorporate it.
There's been an article I've been following, a series of articles, about two school systems, Washington, D.C., surprising, and school system in Dallas, one of the suburbs of Dallas. And they have innovated a evaluation system for the teachers, and they get checked every year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not doing very well, they have remedial courses for the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a pretty good idea, that maybe we should have, because when I was working for a living, the company would pay for me to go to graduate school nights,
Right.
or they would send me off to special classes that the corporation was directing. And they would even have staff members who were very knowledgeable in a specific area teach after-hours classes.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of opportunity to keep up with the technology and the changes and get ahead of the
Yeah.
story. And I'm not sure that the system has that built in or is considering, because it's been touted in, as I said, in Dallas and D.C. as a new innovation, where not only are the teachers evaluated, but they are provided with some sort of remedial help.
Mm-hmm.
So could that be some innovation that the school committee sponsors? Or
Right. Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be something to look into. Honestly, I'm not sure what they do, how it works right now, but yeah, I know teachers are always doing professional development. They're going back to school, so I'm sure no one's seen, I would think would be opposed to having things like that, but I'd have to look into it more.
yeah. So where do we go from here in the school system? We've got a situation where hopefully there's not too much animosity left over from the strike.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem that the parents are concerned that the teachers are going to be concentrating on the classes they're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
and not worrying about other fringe benefits and things like that. The teachers are concerned about, okay, what do we do next? And administrators have got the challenge of how do we get the best out of the teachers we've got?
Mm-hmm.
So the school committee has to get involved, I think, in some of these areas and provide some sort of guidance and direction that, hey, this is important, and that's not important. So where would your priorities be?
First of all, I think the teachers in Beverly are absolutely phenomenal. We've had such great experiences with everyone we've had. So I really think it comes down to open communication between all involved parties. I think the more we can get everyone talking, the more open dialogue we can have, the better. I think it's really important for everyone that's making these decisions and that are involved to really go to classrooms, and they need to be not just spending 15, 20 minutes, whatever, in a classroom. They need to really sit there and see what's going on at every level, from preschool up to high school.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned more open communications. How do you make this happen? You know, it's easy to say, well, we ought to talk to each other
Yeah.
more often, but what kind of mechanisms can you introduce to?
Yeah, I think it's already, the superintendent has started on a good foot by sending out these really good, detailed weekly newsletters.
Who gets them?
The parents,
Okay.
But even that would be something that would be great to send out just to the community as a whole, because I think people that may not have students in the system are still interested or should should have the like knowledge of what is going on, so they can see what Beverly's excelling at and what they need help with. So yeah, having things like, I think just a website where all that type of thing is posted more. I think surveys or kind of community interaction, like meetings, different, maybe a coalition, things like that, where people can really sit down and talk and get different points of view are important.
Well, part of the concern I have is that, the school committee meetings are all broadcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And BevCam does a good job of covering them all and in all the gory details. And it gets to be a challenge to sit through one of those things and watch it.
They're long, yeah.
So I guess one of the things I would like to see is, how do we get a summary of, okay, what happened, what's the issues, what's the
Right.
concerns?
I
Boil
think
it down
that's
to
great.
something that, like the old 20-minute, 20-second elevator speech kind of story that you get the gist of it right away, and it says, oh, that's interesting, I can dig in deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Or, okay, it seems under control, I won't worry about it.
Yeah.
How do you get to the point where,
I think that would be a great thing to, if there was some kind of website or mailer or email that went out that kind of did summarize that, and also kind of made it more known to people. This is the meeting we have coming up. These are the points we're discussing. This is one that's open to public speech. Just trying to get more people involved. And I agree that the school committee meetings can be long. They're at times that might be hard for people. So just having more kind of community forums or something like that, I think could be really helpful.
yeah, well, again, in the age of computers, a website with a summary is relatively easy to produce, generate, except for the point you got to get somebody to say, you're the one taking
Right.
notes, and this is what the story is going to be, or somehow or other.
Right.
And you don't want to get it bogged down, and it's got to be reviewed by all of these people before you can publish it.
Yeah.
And it sort of defeats the purpose if it appears 2 months after the issue. Too late to do anything about it, or
And they do have the minutes from the meetings that everyone signs off on, and I believe you can view those. But I know what you mean about making it kind of concise and the point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've had almost our half hour of fun, and it's now your turn to make your pitch to that camera.
Okay. Hi, thank you for watching. My name's Madeline Lennox, and I'm running for Ward 2 School Committee. I know no one's running against me, but I still think it's really important to engage and have community involvement. So I would love to hear from anyone. If elected, I will really try to be transparent and open with communication. I'd love to, have coffee hours and always respond to emails and calls. I really think the teachers in Beverly are fabulous, and our kids are really lucky to have them, but there are struggles, and I really hope to work with the community to figure out solutions for these problems. And yeah, I'm excited for hopefully change and fresh perspectives and voices.
Yeah. So it's going to be a challenging season with the budget, City Hall-wise, that the 2026 budget is already passed, so
Right.
that's a done deal. And it's under control. 2027, the city is going to be facing a problem of Prop 2.5 will not allow the city to raise enough taxes to cover the anticipated expenses.
Right.
And there's going to have to be something done. And I think one of the concerns I have is that the school system is driving a lot of the budget increases.
Mm-hmm.
And although they blame it on, they use the sidewalks and streets as a catch-all for how we're going to save money, but that doesn't work out.
Right.
And I think at the same time, the school committee creates a budget, turns it into the city. The city council looks at it. They got a yay or nay vote.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that bothers me about it is I don't think the school committee completely explains to the city council, this is why we need the money to do this, this, and this is why we ain't doing that no more.
Right.
And I think that's another path for open communications, that it's not something that is deliberately hidden, but at the same time, it's not something that's deliberately expressed, explored, expanded on
Right.
to where do we go from here, and why are we going this way?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things I think the school committee could be much more proactive on. This is our story, and this is why we're telling it this way. And so I think I would like to see you and everybody else that's on the school committee start to be a little more outgoing
Right.
beyond the school committee
Right.
and making decisions there and get the message out better.
Yeah. Oh, I fully agree with that, and I think that's so important for the whole community
Yeah.
to have that. Yeah.
So I'll count on hearing from you.
Sorry?
I will count on
Oh,
hearing
yes.
from
Good.
you. Good. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching us this evening. And as I mentioned, you have a comment, my email address is in the credits before and after the discussion. And if you have a longer comment, there's room for you here at the table. So this is going to be a long election season, so stay tuned, and we'll be back.